President Trump addresses the nation tonight regarding the border wall, the security, the fence, whatever you want to call it, at our southern border. I'm going to take a minute to look at why we should build it and why we shouldn't build it, according to people in the know. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance, and get ready to chuckle. Let's look at the reasons why various Democrats say that we should not build a wall. We'll look at the reasons why President Trump says we should build a wall. And then I'm going to make some predictions based upon whether or not the wall is built or not built. All right, why shouldn't we build a wall according to various Democrats? I've been looking for an op-ed piece in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post with a long, cohesive list of reasons why it's a bad idea. And guess what I found? Nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's little snippets here and there. There'll be a piece about, well, the wall is about racism. That's what some of the new congressmen are saying, that this goes back all the way to America's founding. White people started this country with slaves, and it's been a white privileged country ever since, and they don't want all these Mexicans coming in because they're not white. It's laughable, but that's what they're saying. Another reason they say is it's insensitive. All these people just want a better life. Look at all these children coming on the caravans. They're just fleeing the poverty or the oppression of our southern nations, our neighbors on the southern border. And they're saying, please let us in. And if you shut the door, it's tantamount to saying no to Mary and Joseph on the night of the Nativity when Jesus was born. Another reason is that it is economic. Oh, it's going to cost too much. Again, I laugh. The amount of money that we spend on illegal immigrants is actually unknown. Now, it's in the tens of billions, right? The president is looking for $5 billion. The amount of money that we spend on illegal immigrants with healthcare services, welfare services, all school costs, health costs, it's unending. We literally don't know how much it costs, all right? So to say that it's about money is ludicrous. Last year, one of the news outlets reported that some 369,000 illegal immigrants were captured at the border and then released. Catch and release. Then they're just gone. To come back to the idea that this is about sensitivity, if they're so concerned about sensitivity, then I would say to Paul Ryan, former Speaker of the House, who has a fence around his home, and to former President Obama, who has a fence around his home, why don't you just start being sensitive and take down the fence around your property? And let people come up to the door and ask you for stuff, whether it's clothing or an education or food or whatever it is. If you're really all that sensitive, then take them into your home. Take them into your neighborhood. How about just as a next door neighbor? Now, I will grant you that comparing a wall around a house to a border wall in Israel, let's say, or in between Mexico and America, it's not perfectly analogous because you have a God-given right to your own home and to have people not come in whenever they want. That's what trespass laws are all about. That's what the Fourth and Fifth Amendment are all about to our Constitution. But the analogy does hold some water because ultimately a community or a nation is a group of homes. It's a group of people. And if we are going to say that it's sensitive to let all these people in, then why do we have immigration laws at all? And there are people who want that, friends. Make no mistake. There are people who want anyone who wants to be able to come into this country to come from any nation for any reason, period. No matter how sick they are, no matter how poor or rich they are, no matter what their background is, let them in. Now, I'm going to look at the political fallout if President Trump doesn't build a wall. But first, one quick thing. President Trump wants to build a wall because if you can't control your border, ultimately, you're not going to have a nation. That's his argument. We know that there are illegal drugs pouring over the southern border. We know that there's human trafficking coming over the southern border. A wall would stop those two things. We know that there are illegal immigrants pouring over the border just to get free stuff, to get a chance to be in America, get some free stuff, have a better life. I'll grant you that. But they're doing it illegally. So he would stop illegal immigration. He would stop the flow of guns back and forth, illegal drugs, human trafficking, all of that. I don't know, those sound like good goals to me. But let's talk about the politics of the matter, because this at the core is what it's about for the Democrats. Hear me, Democrats, we know what you're up to. If President Trump does not build a wall, he will not be reelected. He will lose because his base will feel betrayed. It was the most important promise he made during the election to protect our southern border. If he doesn't build the wall, he will be defeated. And then what? Then the Democrats get what they really want. And none of them have the integrity to say it. But here's what they really want. Behind closed doors, what they're saying is if we can keep the president from building this wall or border or fence, whatever you want to call it, we know that his base will abandon him. We can get a Democrat into the White House, and then we can get what we really want, which is amnesty. We can turn these 11 million illegal immigrants that are in America right now, and maybe it'll be 12 or 14 or 15 million if another Democrat takes the White House, and then we can turn them into legal U.S. citizens with the right to vote. And at that moment, the Democrats will have secured the White House for most elections for 50 or 100 years, or until this republic is no more, because most of those illegal immigrants will become Democrats. And then it won't just be California that is a Democrat state. Arizona will be lost. Texas will be lost. Florida could be lost permanently. You could have states right now that are solid Republican states that have a huge illegal immigrant population, or where those illegal immigrants turned American citizens through amnesty, where they migrate and where they become a large enough part of the population where Democrats take those states for the White House. And in that moment, friends, the Democrats will control the presidency of the United States for decades to come. That is what this is all about. Don't believe their horse manure about sensitivity or Mary and Joseph or about racism or about the cost of the wall. It's all a ruse. It's all a lie. They want political power, and they see in these millions of illegal immigrants the means to get it. These immigrants are not simply well-meaning, misunderstood, misguided victims to them. They are political pawns by which the Democrats can achieve their agenda for the next generation. President Trump, hold the line. If you don't build the wall, America as we know it is finished. Your presidency is finished. And the Democrats, God save us, will control the White House for decades to come. That's what this is all about, friend. So you better be telling your senator and your U.S. House senators and your U.S. House member that you want this wall built. I'll be right back. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com.